What I remember about Marcia.
What I remember about Marcia.
What I remember about Marcia.
Well, immediately, I think of her dedication to her students.
Her smile and her booming laughter.
She really had such incredible style.
You'd be working on a new play and someone would say something and, I mean, it just, you could see that the gears were turning and she was really working off the comment that someone had just gave her.
She always looked like so, I don't know, very sophisticated, 60s kind of, sitting in a Paris cafe.
She was always very dramatic and could go from talking very esoterically about the state of the world to being intensely focused with a laser beam intensity, especially with dealing with the students.
We joked when she was going through treatments last year that I've never seen anybody rock a headscarf as well as Marcia.
She always used to say, "Hey, hey, John K." That made me smile. She used to call Eric Chief, which I thought was cute.
I always had a lot of meetings with her because I always go to use the bathroom on the 3rd floor because that's the private bathroom in this building. So that's how Marcia got a lot of visitors to her office, because everyone always went to the 3rd floor to the private bathrooms, and then you'd stop by and see Marcia.
She used to eat Goya black beans out of a can for lunch.
We were doing Signature in the Schools, and I think it was a show set in the Civil War era, and she decided that we needed to have a cannon that shot confetti, but not a confetti cannon, an actual cannon.
She had a fondness for somewhat ridiculous, these high-heeled clogs with fur around the top, and when I would be out shopping or in a shoe store and I would see shoes with the high heels and the clogs, I would think, oh, these have got to be Marcia Gardner shoes.
She would randomly come over to my desk and say things like, "Catherine, do you like almonds?" Say, "Why, yes, Marcia, I actually do enjoy almonds." She'd be like, "Okay, good. Almonds are good for you. They're really good, yeah." And then she would walk off.
She could deliver a line better than anybody I know.
I felt like Marcia, the energy that she carried with her was almost visible. I felt like in my mind, in my memory, Marcia's always bouncing a little bit because she always had that much energy.
Diet Coke. Bottles and bottles of Diet Coke. Literally covering her desk. Everywhere you look on the floor, I have found some in cabinets and in drawers in her office. There's Diet Coke everywhere, and often they're open. There's been a couple sips taken out of one, and then she'll go to another bottle for some reason.
She had done something that was very Marcia-esque in her gesturing, and I was like, oh my god, she's a Muppet. She's a real-life human Muppet. I could just see in a moment the hair, the glasses, a little scarf, her hands gesturing passionately, like she was the director of the Muppets before they actually got onto the stage for the live show. So.
The thing that I'm going to miss most about Marcia, besides how kind and compassionate she was, is the conversations that I always thought were honest and refreshing and unique to anyone else in the building.
She also had a good laugh. People think I have a good laugh. She had a better laugh.
The thing I remember most about Marcia is that in a world of talkers, she was always a listener, and that she had the most unfortunate proximity with her office to the 3rd floor bathrooms.
Teenagers being in Signature in the Schools, it's like she could speak to them like they were people. She didn't demean or try and talk down to them. She talked to them like they were people, like they were young professionals.
She had this ability to... She was very democratic. She even the playing field across the whole range of students that were at Overtures made me feel very welcome, and obviously the kids loved her from the minute they got there. That's what I remember first.
She had this great, powerful, commanding voice. She had just a wonderful laugh that I can hear.
Well, she always had such a warm, positive, funny attitude. She was a joy to have in meetings because she would just say the most hysterical things randomly that would take a lot of the pressure off if we were feeling any of that, or could be able to calm the mood down very quickly. She was a joy.
Even when she was the most ill, I remember walking into her apartment and just being in awe that her skin was still so beautiful and had this peachy glow to it, and the brightness of her eyes and her skin just illuminate the whole world.
She'd be so focused on what she was doing. She could be looking at a book, and all of a sudden she'd
her head would snap up and she'd start laughing as loud as can be, and her big, beautiful big smile would come on. And we didn't know what the heck she was doing, and then she would explain it to us. But from this woman who carried herself so classically, she would come out with riotous laughter.
When I think of Marcia, the thing that I remember most is her elegance, and not just the fact that she dressed elegantly or she expressed herself elegantly, but that she had an elegant spirit.
We, from the very beginning, had a knack for talking each other's ears off. From the very day I met her. With the interview, when I interviewed to be her intern, it was 2 hours long, and it never really changed.
Whenever I would hear her laugh, you knew that everybody was happy because she was always laughing, and it was loud, and it was just distinctive and true, and it came from the bottom of her soul.
She was a beautiful person. She was somebody that you could always count on to talk to for a smile, for encouragement. She had one of those souls that you don't see very often.
She seemed to exist to nurture artists and art, and that is a very special thing.
You know, she was an advocate and she was passionate, but the work was never more important than the people she was working with. And so it never got to the point where anyone was against Marcia or against what the work was.
You know, she was so enthusiastic about Signature in the schools and all the education programs here, and enthusiastic about Signature, and she really loved being here.
When I think of how many people that love theater because of her inspiration and her classes and commitment to Wakefield High School and Signature in the Schools and Overtures and Stage One, it's amazing how many lives she's touched.
During Overtures, she was the rock, the person that held it all together. Just her constant amazement at what everybody can do, and her famous at what everybody did. So, love you, Miss Marsh, and I miss you.